Hey everyone, how you guys doing today? Shankar Puri here. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and what's been going on. Is Bitcoin going to be banned because of its energy use or not? Without further ado, guys, let's dive into the charts. But please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything in this video is just for entertainment purposes only. And if you like, please comment, share, subscribe, and also share if you found this informative. So without further ado, let's dive right into the charts. All right, guys, so let's look at this right now. So yesterday we did have a dump, but before we get into the charts, and we start looking at this TA and what is happening today, I want to go over this. So Bitcoin mining and also what happened yesterday. So there's always been a narrative that Bitcoin is not energy efficient. Maybe compared to proof of stake is more efficient with using way less energy consumption than proof of work. But proof of work is definitely not inefficient compared to the rest of, a lot more traditional markets. So yesterday the markets were spooked because news came out that Bitcoin banning measures seemed too close to call in Monday's EU Parliament vote. As of today, the vote got denied, where most people were voting against this. But let's look into it. Let's say this even got passed. So let's scroll down here and say a number of EU Parliament have been pushing to ban proof of work. So that would be Bitcoin. Bitcoin's proof of work. Ethereum is currently proof of work, but is moving to proof of stake. So pushing to ban proof of work cryptocurrencies over energy concerns. Even if the energy in question were to be renewable, they fear that renewable energy could be channeled into proof of work computing rather than national grid destined for public use. Okay? Right underneath that, it says a previous version of the provision proposed the prohibition of proof of work crypto in EU starting in January 2025. So even if this was going to be passed, this wouldn't be taking into effect until 2025. It's not like this would happen tomorrow. So you got to be cognizant when this new news comes out that nothing happens overnight. It takes some time to play out. So this has already been, I do not believe this is going to happen. They're not going to ban Bitcoin. This is literally every year. Something about Bitcoin's energy consumption is always, they're talking about it, saying that it's very inefficient. But even here it says if it was going to happen to be 2025, and then like I said, it was voted against. The provision was later dropped following criticism from crypto advocates before the modified version made it back into the latest draft. So it has already been declined, and even if it was going to be passed, it would be in 2025. Now, I want to bring you guys to this article in May that happened last year, May 17, 2021, when we're at the height of the whole Bitcoin, frenzy, when Bitcoin went all the way up to 60K. So as Bitcoin mining uses half the energy the traditional banking system does, says new research from Mike Novogratz firm. So if we scroll down here, says the author also said that many don't realize how much less energy Bitcoin uses because how limited transparency can be into gold and financial system data. So I'm just going to zoom in here and you can see estimated annual energy consumption. Look where Bitcoin is compared to gold and the banking system. So obviously you can see this is ridiculous. Bitcoin uses way less energy than gold and the banking system as of right now. So we're not shutting down the banking system and people aren't shutting down gold. So this is just another tactic to scare people out of the market. Please remember, we're still at the beginning stages of cryptocurrency, and this is going to be the new layer of the financial system. But these news articles are really just meant to scare people. It's for me, I just look at it as entertainment, pop some popcorn on and just read the news, and it'll be more entertained than a movie. So right now let me actually go out to the daily chart. Still in this Wyckoff accumulation. Not only are we in this Wyckoff accumulation, when that news broke out yesterday, we broke down. We closed underneath here, but we're currently back inside of this. We're on top of this trend line. So let's see if we close above it today. If we go into the 4-hour time frame, it looks like we had a nice double bottom. We had some good volume coming in. Here. So we had some decent volume coming in here. So this could be a bottom, you could say a higher low, a double bottom, to bring us back in. So if we come here, and bounce up, so we're anticipating these two movements, whether we come up here and get rejected, or, we break above, come back, and, retest and break through. So that's what we're anticipating. So let's look at the weekly close. So, the weekly close for me is very important, as it does kind of signify more than the day-to-day action. It shows us where we're going for the next week or 2 or 3 or 4, even possible months. So we still have that bullish divergence on the RSI. I mean, nothing has changed there. So we're still anticipating, the move up on this bullish divergence. And like I said, a bullish divergence doesn't take a day or 2 to play out. It takes, weeks and sometimes months. And if we go back in before we go out to the weekly, we are in this pattern. So if we go back to the 4-hour, we're in this pattern. So it's a matter of time before we break up to the upside or downside. So we can keep consolidating here, but at some point we're going to break to the upside or to the downside. So we need to keep that in mind, right? Okay. So there's that. So let's go back out to the weekly time frame. Go back out to the weekly. And we pull out the RSI and the NVT. So on the weekly, we still have the NVT is still looking good. We're still red. We're still closing red, so it's looking great on the weekly close. Stochastic RSI is still bullish, and we're in the 20 zone. So we have some momentum to the upside right now. So, probabilities on the weekly for me is looking good. We're looking good in my perspective. We're still in the Wyckoff. The weekly has closed. We've had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 weeks, maybe more of closing in the green, in the red here in the NVT. We're still up here with the stochastic RSI, so it's looking good. We're looking perfectly fine with that respect. So let's look at other indicators. Right now we have the TLT literally looks like it's dropping off a cliff, to be honest. So we'll go into the daily. So let's go into the daily. So I still see this bullish divergence on the TLT. So I'm expecting, an upswing. So maybe this may happen. We may get a retest of this trend line. This which was support, now resistance. So we might get a retest from the bullish divergence, get rejected and further downside, or we may break back above. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, so the TLT is under this resistance right now, so this resistance zone right now. So we could say the resistance zone was from, here. Yeah, so we're currently underneath this resistance zone. So, coming back up and retesting it and getting rejected would be a good sign, because a TLT, when people are piling into the bonds, especially 20-year bonds, it shows that investors are a little fearful and they're going risk off. The TLT has been coming down since December, and it's been heading down. And we got to remember that things take a little time. So while it's still going down, I strongly believe that this money leaving the bonds are gonna go into risk on assets, for mid to short term before we do have a crash, or a massive correction, crash, whatever you want to call it. So that's, the TLT is looking good. Let's look at the USDC. So the USDT dominance. So like I said, it's completely inverse correlated with the Bitcoin chart. So I'll just pull it up here in case you haven't been watching these videos, so we can see it's literally 100% almost inversely correlated. So anytime we've been at the top here of this bull run, we've come down and had parabolic runs. So we're still at the top here, back at the top. So a concern for me, I will say, is though we're up here, we may get rejected. We are forming what could be a bullish pattern here, and this would break to the upside if it has a higher probability of breaking to the upside. So we just need to watch this and hope and just anticipate what will happen, that there's still a probability that we break to the upside now, because we've had one test, we've had a test here, a nice rejection, we've had a test here, and we're testing it again. So that's 4 tests in a very short period of time. And the more times you test the trend line, the higher the likelihood it is to break. So I just want to be realistic that I do anticipate us to come down from here and reach the bottom of this pattern here. We are forming a bull pattern at the moment, so we got to keep that in mind, right? So we are forming a bull pattern and we're running out of room. So I am still anticipating that we are going to break down, but I just got to be realistic here that if we do break to the upside, this would definitely bring the Bitcoin price a lot lower. So keep that in mind. So, and lastly, I just want to show this chart here of the Bitcoin price. So we have this resistance zone. So I do trade altcoins. I haven't really been trading that much the last couple of days, because we were really underneath this resistance zone. And, a lot of these altcoins are kind of not giving the clearest direction of what's going to be happening, because Bitcoin's not giving us the clearest direction of what's going to be happening. So we're currently, you can see that we're underneath this resistance zone. The price has been pushed down over here, pushed down. Even in over here, we got pushed down. So you can see the significance. We held up here, held the zone up here, got pushed down over here. So, and if we go all the way back to February and January of 2021, got rejected, and as soon as we broke through, we had a nice breakthrough. So this is on the 1 hour time frame right now. So we do need to break this, and like I said, this trend line, very important trend line for us to break. So let's go back to the daily. So I want you guys to keep in mind that this yellow trend line, nothing for me is 100%. We're not really back 100% bullish until we break and hold this trend line around $44,500. So once we break this, and we hold, I'll say, okay, we're back in the game. But as of right now, things are looking bullish, but we haven't got that confirmation for us to say, hey, let's go, bull run 100% back on. The probabilities, in my perspective, are that these levels are better buying levels at the moment, but it is riskier, because that confirmation still isn't there. Once we break over this line, this trend line, I would say that, yep, it's the Bitcoin bull market, the last leg of the bull market's back on. But I am still confident that we are going to be heading higher. But you just got to manage your risk and what you can take based on, where you are in your life, if you have dependents, if you have a mortgage to pay. So if you couldn't be that risk on, if you could be risk on, like I'm buying at these levels, I'm definitely buying at these levels. and I have my invalidation points. But if you wanted to wait, you can wait till we get a retest, start buying altcoins and other coins here, and then profit from here all the way to wherever you think the top is, right? The risk is you miss the move from here to here. So, you know, it may not seem like a lot, but if you buy here and sell up here versus if you buy here and sell at the same price, you know, it could be like a 3x difference, right? The way the cryptocurrency market works. But at the same time, the risk is if it goes up, gets rejected, and goes further, you could lose like 50% of your portfolio in days with these altcoins. So, you know, you got to decide that for yourself, what you want to do. All right. So that's it for today's video. Just want to bring your attention to the news that happened. That was really the main purpose of this video. And don't get spooked. As you get to understand this market and you know, with a little bit more experience, you understand that 99% of the negative news on Bitcoin is really not negative, because when you actually look at the facts, the facts aren't there. You know, I remember when I took a course in university, one of the courses it was talking about how people, when they're making news and presenting data, you can have the same numbers but manipulate the numbers in a way to prove your point. So always keep that in mind whenever what you're reading, and try and find the actual data yourself and interpret it your way, and then you'll find your truth in that. So Bitcoin, it is less energy efficient than proof of stake, but proof of work is more efficient than many other markets, traditional markets like banking and gold. So keep that in mind whenever you hear this news. And this news has been perpetuated in 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 17, 16, 15, 14. If you just look and you just type it in and look year through year, this news is always there. So just keep that in mind. And if you like, please comment, share, subscribe, and tune in next time for the next Bitcoin update. Thank you. Take care.